Me and my twin sister, we were supposed to be born December 6th, but we were born October 4th. And my mom went into labor thinking she was going to have a baby girl. And then 44 minutes later, I come out. They were like, okay, there goes the girl. And then they're like, wait a minute, there's one more left.
My goodness. My goodness.
Yeah. And then when we got to high school, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We wanted to do something extracurricular, but track, I just remember the first day running and I won. I'm like, okay. Every year we got better, so I started off as a 400-meter runner. We ran on a relay, and then by my senior year, we were both number 1 and 2 in the nation.
How much of the champion experience would you say is mindset versus physical performance?
It takes that bit of dog in you mentally to block all the distractions out, to really execute and perform where you know you should perform. There's a small amount of people that can do that.
Yeah, but you also integrate other things, like you use BEMER as well.
The BEMER.
Tell us about that.
The BEMER, I was introduced to the BEMER in 2016. I kept straining my I strained my hamstring. It was right before the Olympic trials. I was using it for about 2 weeks. And then I came back sprinting. And they're like, wait a minute, didn't you just pull your hamstring out? I was like, I did. They're like, no, you look really good coming out the blocks. And I'm like, I know, like, how? And I'm like, the BEMER. Because people know me as Miki the BEMER. You talk about the stupid BEMER. I'm like, I know, because I'm serious about the BEMER.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Miki Barber with us. My name is Ben, of course. I'm your host.
And I'm Caylee. I'm your co-host. And we're so excited to talk to you today, Miki.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was a great intro. A great intro.
Well, we are just so thrilled to have you. My goodness, if there is anyone that is the glowing personification of what we're all about here in the Longevity Lounge, it is you in bucket loads. This is exciting to jump in with you today.
Yes, thank you.
This is wonderful. I want to kind of jump into your origin story for just a bit, Miki, if that's all right. Tell us kind of your story. Like we said, you're less than 2 pounds in weight when you were born. You were a surprise baby because you're a twin.
Yes. Yes. Me and my twin sister, we were supposed to be born December 6th, but we were born October 4th. And my mom went into labor thinking she was going to have a baby girl. And then 44 minutes later, I come out. They were like, okay, there goes the girl. And then they're like, wait a minute, there's one more left.
My goodness. My goodness.
Yeah. And so my sister was 2 pounds, 9 ounces. I was 1 pound, 14 ounces. We were in the hospital in the NICU. I was there till February and she was there till January. So we were in the hospital for a long time. We were just low in weight, but we were very healthy babies. We just had to get our weight up, had to get a little thick before I came out.
Just a little bulk. It's fine.
Yeah.
A little thickness. So it took me a while, but yeah, we got up to 5 pounds in 2 or 3 months. And then I didn't even know what that meant when they tell the story and stuff. And I'm like, they were in the newspaper actually. And so I'm like, wow, were we famous when we were born? What's going on?
I know, my goodness.
And so they got sponsored by Kaiser Permanente. And I think they were the first family. I said they. We were the first family to get sponsored. And my dad's in there with a picture of us like, hey, I'm like, Dad, we're in the paper. And he was like, yeah. And my mom told us the story how they got sponsored by Kaiser. That
is very cool. I mean, certainly a fighting start, right? I mean, that fighting spirit was right there at birth.
Definitely. So I didn't know, like 1 pound. Then I heard everyone else's weights. Like, wait a minute. So I'm the only one that was 1 pound around here?
Yeah.
I'm 5, I'm 6, I'm 8.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 1. So that's always been our story. No one believes that my sister and I are fraternal. They all think, because we do look a lot alike. So
you guys look almost identical.
I know. I have been scratching my head there trying to figure that bit out.
Yeah, no, we're fraternal, 44 minutes apart. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I ask my mom that every day. I'm like, Mom, are you sure we're fraternal still? She's like, you keep asking me because people to this day still ask about, are we identical or fraternal?
Yeah. And you both got into the same sport, right? So tell me how did that shape your identity? One, being a twin, but two, also playing the same sport and competing in the same way. And was there competition there on the track as well as at home, or?
The competition's everywhere. It's always everywhere. Like, I bet I can run up the stairs faster than you. Yeah. I'm going to get counted. Like, I can eat fat. We made a competition about everything, but it was always lighthearted and fun. Honestly, when we were growing up, we kind of fought a lot. Like, I'm like, we fought each other for some reason. And then when we were teenagers, we just let that go. But we always were athletic and active. I played softball when I was young. We had a a street full of D1 athletes. I'm like, I think our street was the most athletic street in the whole town.
That's crazy.
They went to D1 schools. They were football players, basketball players. Some were doctors. Our community was very involved in our childhood. It was an awesome childhood. We had kickball games off the street. We used to play a thing called war. We had war against the kids across the street. We we were always playing tag. We always were doing something athletic. And then one of our neighbors, Aaliyah Williams, she was in this magazine. I'm like, you're a superstar. Like, what? And she's like, I run track for Colgate games. I'm like, what? And this was in middle school. And then when we got to high school, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We wanted to do something extracurricular. So we tried all these different things. But track, I just remember the first day running and I won. I'm like, okay. And I hated it. If I lost the race, I'm a sore loser. So like, I'm not losing. I don't care. And that's how we went from that day on. And then Lisa, we both got the track bug and we loved it. We wanted to get faster and better and stronger every year. Every year we got better. So I started off as a 400-meter runner and we ran on a relay. And then by my senior year, we were both number 1 and 2 in the nation.
My goodness. So it was your neighborhood that got you into sport the way you were?
I would say so, yeah. Everybody was on bikes. We were playing softball. We were playing kickball. We're racing in the street. We're doing WWE wrestling moves, like the guys and the girls. Like, we just did everything. And
That's awesome.
we're kind of tomboys, and then we were cute at the same time. We just liked to be outside and do things. And so when we saw track, that stuck with us. No one really made us run track. We were like, let's join the track team. And I remember there was like all these people out there. And by the end of the season, it's like 10 girls.
Yeah.
So, and then we were the last ones basically. And we had a really good team. We had really good, our coaches. I still talk to my coach to this day, Raymond Spivey. He's 87 years old.
Oh,
and
cool.
rest in peace to Doris Ellis. She passed 3 years ago, but she was 85 too. And we're like a hometown family. So yeah, this stuck with us and we never stopped. Literally, I never stopped till I was 41.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you've talked a lot about just what a wonderful influence your parents have been on the both of you. How important is a strong mentor for achieving what you've achieved, accomplished, and on and off the track?
Having support and a mentor, it means everything. That's what you need. If it's not your parents or if you don't have somebody that can lead you in the right direction, that can tell you the truth, that can be there for you, a listening ear. Because a lot of times I didn't have that. I would say my parents are my biggest influence, but a lot of times I internalized a lot of things because I wanted to impress them or, I wanted to make sure everything was right and everything's perfect. So a lot of times I didn't tell them what I was going through. So it was a good thing that they are influenced, but it's a lot of times I didn't want them to worry about me. I wanted to let them know that I have it under control. I can do it. I'm going to win. And that was everything. But looking back, a lot of times I didn't need to hold everything on my shoulders. I mean, a lot of times as athletes, we think if we lose a race, if we don't perform at this level, we're nothing. And so that's what you need. You need people to come behind you to say, you know what? It's really, you're okay. And I've experienced a lot of people who commit suicide, go into deep depression. They don't know what to do because their sport is their identity. And we don't have a lot of resources for that. And to this day, people, hey, you're still running. Like, no, you don't know when to stop. And then sometimes you need to stop, but it's like, you got to keep doing it because it keep telling you you got to do it. And if you don't do it, you're trash. So I thank my parents a lot, just for sticking in there with us and providing a good, loving foundation and home to where I didn't have to worry. And I had to learn respect, moral values, and setting goals because everything wasn't just given to me. I always had to make sure that if I had to do the right things to get the things that I want. And they always instilled that in us. Like, no, nothing's for free. Oh, you think you won national champions? You're not a superstar yet. Like, no. Like, they kept us grounded. Because
it's important.
And I thank them for that so much. And that's why I give them all the credit. And because that's what it is. And being a parent and having children and worrying about them and just knowing you have daughters and sons out in this world and you're the reason for them. And they provided such a good foundation for me that I didn't know. I did know. I knew my parents were awesome. And I always knew that. And I never took that for granted. So me running track, was like, okay, I'm gonna show you guys that you guys are awesome, or like I did that. And
Yeah.
a lot of times they didn't even care. Like, okay, Mickey, relax. And I'm like, no, but I didn't win. Like I didn't think about that. I always wanted to win and just keep going.
Yeah. Does that, out of curiosity, I don't want to jump too far ahead because I want to get to the beginnings of your career as an athlete, but you coach a lot now as well.
Yes. Yes.
Does that experience shape you? Not everyone has parents in their corner like you've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How does that shape the way that you coach, out of interest, in terms of giving that perspective on not just winning, but also being able to lose well?
Right. That's why I'm so passionate about coaching, because I know how it was when you're in high school, when you're starting off, and sometimes you're like, oh, it's not that serious, but whatever it is, it's that serious to a high school student, to anybody achieving their goals and in the main first beginning stages of becoming who you want to be. Um, I'm so passionate about that because I know how it is to, you don't really know, you don't know. So I try to give them a real scenarios like, guys, I know you guys want to play football, but it doesn't, you have to really work here. And I was like, in track and field, is a lot of my guys are football players, and they're like,
Mm.
oh, we don't need track, and track is this, and but like, no, it's not just about track. This can help you. Let me help you. Or a lot of my girls, they didn't really take it serious, and I'm like, you guys have it. How about you just use it? Give yourself a chance to be great. You
Yeah.
guys, you don't want to practice, but you want these great times, or you're not really listening because you think I don't know what I'm talking about, because you're like, what are you doing? You're only a high school coach. It's
Mm.
so funny. But I really have to show them, like, look, I've done it. I get it, because I did it too in high school. Like, what are they talking about? They're old or something, or you don't know. So I try to just bear with them, and
Mm.
let them know, like, it's okay. Like, you don't just have to be a track runner, but whatever you do, give it your all and give yourself a chance. Because you know what? There's one girl, she's really talented, and she didn't really do it. She didn't really know that. And I'm like, look, you can go to college. You might not, you really might be able to get a scholarship. Give yourself a chance. Come to practice. Give me 2 or 3, 4 hours of your time 4 times a week. I guarantee you it will pay off. And
Mm.
they finally got it. But I just let them know, like, don't be too hard on yourself. Or no, you know what? You can be hard on yourself, but just know you can get back up from it and know that you have support. And I'm going to be that one for you. And you think you're alone, you're not. So I like them knowing that they can come to me. And sometimes they don't know what to do. Like, how old are you? What do you do? I don't get it. Like, you're an Olympian. There, but I'm like, yeah, I am, and I'm right here. And a lot of people want to be in your shoes and training with me. So you have me. So make sure you utilize everything I got,
Yeah.
because I'm offering this to you. And they're like, okay, I get it.
I think that's huge because certainly I think so much of what we accomplish and achieve in life does come down to how we see ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the starting point, in my experience, I'd love to get your take on this, but the starting point in many instances is having someone in your corner that believes in you sometimes before you believe in yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Most definitely, most definitely. And that's what I got in high school. My high school coaches, they were just, they didn't even do too much. Like, I trusted them. They trusted me. They gave the rules, but they're never cursing me out. They're never talking crazy to me or anything like that. They just were there, and we did what they said, and it worked. And it wasn't until I got to college where I did feel alone, because I felt like it was just me, and I didn't have anyone to really talk to. And I was winning. Uh, I won 5 NCAA championships, 21-time All-American, SEC record holder. Then I got hurt really bad, and then it was just me alone. And I'm like, okay, what? And everyone was gone. Like, my parents are in New Jersey. My sister was out running somewhere. I was just home alone by myself in the cast. Nobody really was checking on me
Uh,
like that. I'm like, hold on,
I'm the
NC
champion. I'm the person.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really need that. And as my my professional career, it was there, but I really always wanted that stability of the coach and athlete relationship, because a lot of times the coach, that's what helps you get there.
Mm.
And a lot of times I'm like, look, if you tell me I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win. If you tell me I'm trash, I'm gonna think about that. You're telling me that in my head. So I need your support, or I'd rather train myself. And a lot of times I trained myself because I'm like, they don't really believe in me. So I don't know why, but I had to build myself up a lot of
Yeah.
times. Always looking for that. So that part I didn't really like, that I was always searching for that. Coach me, like, please.
Yeah.
I don't like that part. I don't like it. And a lot of times, a lot of athletes, that's what they need. They go by their coach. Like, let me ask my coach, talk to my coach, everything. That's what it's about. Even I say Sha'Carri Richardson, because Dennis Mitchell, he's a former athlete. He's one of the best 100-meter athletes ever, but he's the green machine. He always had all this wild stuff about him. But when she was going through her battle, when she got in trouble, they had her back. She wasn't alone. No, 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 no. Like, she's protected. Like, nope, you don't talk to her. She had that. And I know that's why she's the person she is to this day, because of her support. She didn't have her mom and like that, but no, she had her team. So your family or your team is really what matters. That you can come home to where everybody's trying to jab you and beat you up, and you come home to your team. They're like, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You're okay. We're going to get you back and nurse you back.
Yeah.
For
Know
sure.
that's what you need. So that's what I really feel. That's what I'm adamant about. And I want to be there, because a lot of people don't know how hard athletes train. They think, oh, we're just working out. Like, no, no, no. This is not the same workout here. Like, we're going 4 or 5 hours a day. We're going 10 hours on a plane. The next day you're getting off the plane and running. Then you're going to another place. Then you're coming back. Then you're going back to train again. And everyone thinks you're just joking because you're an athlete. Like, oh, that's cute little track, your little track sport. Like, no, this is serious.
It's intense.
So,
Yeah.
And
It
that's
really
just the
is.
physical side, right? Excuse me. That's just the physical side. The mental side that you touched on, of like your identity being at stake. Like, you lose, it's you. Like, it's you versus you. I mean, it's you versus everyone else on that track. But at the end of the day, it is you versus you.
Yeah, it's an individualized sport. Then you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, I'm doing this, I'm eating this. Then everyone's like, how'd you let her beat you? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't let her. Okay, I gave it my all. That was it. That's all I had. Then it's like, oh, did you choke? Like, no, maybe I did choke. Can someone help me? It goes like that. Like, do I need
Right.
mental help? Like,
Yeah.
do I need a psychiatrist? Because, like, maybe I am a choker, or maybe I'm not working hard enough, or then you overwork yourself.
How, how much of the champion experience would you say is mindset versus physical performance?
Mindset, it starts everything with your mindset. I've seen some great athletes that can perform at super high levels, and then when they get on the track, it's like you just check out. You're talented, you're physically a god or a goddess, but somehow when you have to perform, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So the mental part, it means so much more. Everybody out there is strong. Everybody out there is extremely fast, extremely strong, extremely confident, or they're at the elite level, the 1 percentile of people. But it takes that bit of dog in you mentally to block all the distractions out, to really execute and perform where you should perform. There's a small amount of people that can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that our ability to achieve great things in life hinges so much on our capacity to deal with hard things, right? Resilience. Because life is just really hard, on or off the track, right? It's kind of brutal. And we need those people in our corner, that family, that team that's got our back, that is there for us. It gives us a 360-degree perspective, not just all the good stuff, but loves us enough to say the hard things too, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. You need that corner. You need that cocoon to come into, to rest. Like, okay, it's not that bad, or maybe it is that bad. Let me just let you vent and release of some things. And a lot of people don't have that. And that's the things we struggle with as I go through this with a lot of collegiate athletes, because I think that's where it starts to me in college, where you're your own person, you're a young adult, you're making your decisions. It's all on you. You're away from your family. That's when you have to step out and use what you know to really navigate through those situations. And college, I think, prepared me a lot for life that I didn't realize. And South Carolina was a great experience for me. I still feel like I go to South Carolina. Like, I'm a Gamecock for life. And it was just a great experience. But a lot of things I did learn, like, and I tell the athletes, like, if you get hurt, you are replaceable. Just know that. Like, you're not the end all be all. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. So when you go to college, there's going to be a lot of people who are just as good as you. Like if you're number one in the state, whatever, no, everyone is good as you. You're gonna get tested the first day of practice. They're gonna try you,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to stand up on your own 2 feet and show how you can handle this tough Power 5 school that you're going to or anything like that. Because everyone wants to be number one. Everyone's working hard. Everyone wants to be on this team, but you have to make your mark. And I knew that when I got to college. I remember the first day of practice. I was working out with some people and they were like, oh, look at Miki trying to take off and run fast. I said, no, I'm not trying to take off. I'm doing what they told me to do. If you don't want to train with me, I'm taking off. And I just remember I took off. And that year I got second in NCAAs. I was freshman of the year. And I just knew right then, like, I thought I had to just stay back and just go at their pace. And I said, no, I'm going to run at my pace.
I love it.
Because I'm not tired. I'm like, what are you just doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay at this pace and I'm going to train this way. If y'all can't keep up with me, that's your fault. Yeah. So I just put that first day of practice like that. And it's very competitive. And sometimes you have to be your own. That's why I got fearless minds, because I was my own cheerleader. A lot of times, like, I was very small. So that was a big thing. Like, oh, you're little, you're small. Oh, with the,
Yeah.
I did that. So it's like, okay, watch these little legs run around this track.
I love it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that, because I'm going to prove you wrong. And I've done that this whole time. And it's been my little chip, I guess, but
it served you well.
Yeah,
right. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to give into the stereotype of you got to be this side. No, I'm going to show you whatever size I am that I have it, and I'm your go-to girl. And I did. And I still have to prove myself sometimes. And that's why I started Fearless Minds and let the kids know, like, you really can do what you want. I really wanted to be a track star. I knew it. I'm like, oh, what are you going to do? No, I wanted to be a track star. That's why I was a track star. That's why I did it. I wanted to do that. And I wanted to be a journalist. I studied journalism. I'm a writer. I wanted to do a lot. And I've done that. I've worked in different areas like that. And, I never put a limit on myself. That's why everyone wants to, oh, you're just track. Like, yes, I'm track and I'm this also. And we can do all of that. So Fearless Minds.
I love that. I come from a big family of little people, right? So, a little chip on my shoulder has worked to my advantage as well, right? So it's good. It's good. Take us to that first moment, I guess the microsecond when it happened, when you won your first gold medal, world champion title, when you knew that was happening, when that moment occurred. What was that experience like? Walk us through it.
Okay, well, honestly, I've only won one gold medal in the 4x100 relay and world championships, but I've been to 5 teams and I've been to all of that. But it was in 2007 in sorry, where was it? Beijing? No, I'm sorry. Why am I going blank? It was in 2007, the 4x1, Daegu. Why am I forgetting this? Osaka, Japan, the 4x100 meters. And there's always a lot of drama when it comes to the relays, when it comes to world championships. There's a lot of decisions to be made. People are going to be left off the team. That's when you really need your people behind you, because it's eye for an eye right there, and no one cares. So when I was selected to be the third leg on the team, and I just remember running down the backstretch after I handed the baton to Lauren Williams, and I was just like, whoa! And I was like, wow, we actually did it. I'm here. And then we did our little victory lap. That was a big moment for me. And it's something that you really can't describe unless you're there. Like, if you actually have been on the world stage and actually see, like, wow, I'm here doing it.
Is there anything for the listeners, because you're right, unless you've experienced it, you just can't comprehend. Outside of the track, what is the closest experience or moment that you've gotten to that was resembling that victory moment?
Oh, God. Okay, well, I'm going to say right now, recently, I got invited to the White House. And
that is huge.
Wow.
We really were in the White House. We got the tour. So it was for the, they were honoring the Olympians. And so my sister, she get this email. She's like, Miki, I got invited to the White House. I said, shut up. They were like, really? And she was like, no, serious.
You're like, this is a worst April Fool's prank ever.
Yeah.
Is this a joke? And she's like, I don't think so. So everyone's like, well, maybe it's not real or something. But then it was real. We really got invited to the White House. We got to see President Biden speak. We got to do the whole thing. And then the Olympians were there. And then they were like, well, how'd you guys? Because you couldn't go. Like, you couldn't just, and we were going up the back. We were doing things. We had the security. We had everything. And they're like, and that made me realize, once an Olympian, always an Olympian. And it was like, this was a monumental experience. And I didn't expect it, but it was like, you know what? All your efforts you've done in your career, you are a big impact on us. And we want you to come honor the Olympians. I said, what? From 2000 Olympics till now, they invited us. They could have invited anybody, but they invited me and my sister. So you never know how well you impact other people. And I didn't even think that 20 years later, I'm like, oh, I'm going to what? And it was an awesome treatment. So
that's so cool.
That's one of the biggest things. And, or maybe like a Beyonce concert, but you know.
Yeah. I love that.
That's awesome. You really can't though. I bet it's so hard to put into words what it feels like. I bet it is.
It is. But like, I've been, honestly, no, when I made the 2000 Olympics also, because I was 19 and they're like, oh, I was in college, but no, walking out opening ceremonies in the 2000 Olympics in Australia also too. Like that. Sorry, that was awesome too.
Yeah.
But those are one of that was right now the most recent off-track experiences, going to the White House and actually like, wow, we got invited. We were just going, we got invited.
Yeah.
And walked down the runway.
Wow.
It was like a big, long runway that only me and my sister walked down. And then they opened up the gate and sat us in the white chairs.
That's incredible.
That's unreal.
This was this past September, so that made me...
I love that in contrast to when you first went to college and you're defining your pace in comparison to others, right? Because if you'd have just settled in with what other people were doing, not only would you not be at the Olympics, but you certainly wouldn't be at the White House as a special guest either, right? And like you said, impacting other people's lives in ways that you don't always realize is happening.
Right. But in the past or in the future, I didn't really think like, oh, they really thought of us. Like, no, you guys were a big impact. Like, oh, okay, yes. And then in college that year, we all stepped up, the whole team. We won national champion. We're the first national champion team ever in University of South Carolina. But that came from our leadership that year. From freshman year till the senior year, we were second runner-up, third runner-up, and we were all came together as a team. They're like, oh, Miki's not playing? We all got to work hard. And that's me. I'm not the person who's going to like do this, do that. I'm going to lead by example. Like, okay, you guys in the back, not me. Yeah. Catch me if you can. Then they were all right there, and we all worked hard, and was like, everyone was like, man, you guys, we're that serious.
Yeah.
And,
So to that point, take us through the mindset or the practice of a champion. Do they, in your opinion, prepare differently to everyone else?
To everyone else?
Yeah, on the track, like in sport, in athleticism, is the champion practice and preparation different to the others that are competing and showing up?
No, I don't think. I think everyone out there is a champion. Everyone out there has the ability to. If you see the Olympic final, everyone out there can win. Everyone is like tenths of this much. Like, oh, I beat you by that. That's not a big difference. But it's. Let me think of you saying. Oh, the people who I know that are like the champions. They know it. Like they don't sway from what they know. They're going to keep the same routine, the same regimen. They practice it over and over and over again. It's not, they're thinking about it. When you think they're not thinking, they're thinking about it. They're like, okay, I know it's off season, but the next month I got, like, you're never not thinking about the next race. You're never not thinking about getting better. So I don't say it's different, but you're the one you got to have a little bit more to be that champion. Like say Usain Bolt. He knew he knew he was going to win. And Justin Gatlin, Maurice Green, I'm thinking of the 100-meter runners, guys I always think, but they know when they're on that line, like, catch me if you can. I know I'm ready. And they've 9 times out of 10 have won. The only thing that probably keep them back is an injury. But It's a little more, a little switch you got to have. It is a little more like the champions, because everyone is good, but it's something you did a little different that made you stand out and really execute. Like Allison Felix, she she's the GOAT. She's the most decorated athlete ever. And I've been training around her for 15 years now, and I see it. Like, okay. I know why she did. I've seen the workouts. I know sometimes, like, okay, she's about to break the world record. Sydney McLaughlin, I was like, up. I saw that day in practice, and she really broke the world record. Then Allison, I said, I know why they just did this because I saw what they were doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of champions, they keep a small circle. They're not giving you too much, and they're sticking with what they know. So yeah, it is a little something that you have to prepare and you have to own it. You got to own it.
I love that because the victory is so small, isn't it? It's literally milliseconds sometimes, right? Between
and a lot of people that are champions, you don't know what they've been through. You really don't. But you got to have that dog mindset because on the track, it's just you. You're in the lane. You're in a little outfit. You're almost naked. Like you're out there. And if something goes wrong, we see you in your lane. You can't hide behind your teammate. You can't hide behind pads or anything. You're out there in a little speed suit going with the wind blowing in your face, the wind on your skin, all of it. You can see every muscle you have. If you're lacking, we see it and it's going to show. That's the only thing that exposes every little thing. And if your eyes aren't here with runners, you're focused on your eyes, your elbows, your pinky's not right, your knee, your foot isn't turned out. It's not this, it's every little thing. We're not just running, we're focusing on every little thing that you're not even thinking about. We're like, oh, her eyes aren't straight. Oh, moving a little bit more. Oh, that pinky is here. It's not there. You're not driving this arm. The elbow's not going. It's so many little things that you have to get right. But if you get it right and you get it right, oh, what? That's why Noah Miles feels the way he feels about himself when he was talking about the basketball players and he was like, what are you, champions of the world? And we're like, no, I'm the champion of the world. But I know why he feels that way because at first I was like, no, shut up. But then it's like, you know what? I know how hard he's worked. He literally is the fastest man on the planet and works just as hard as the NBA players who get hundreds of millions of dollars. And why is he not on that same level? But technically he is because he's the Olympic champion, the world champion, the American, all of it. So you have to feel that way about yourself. You have to be kind of optimistically delusional. Like, yep, I'm just as good as LeBron. I don't care.
Yeah. Optimistically delusional. I love that. That's so real. That's so real. Yeah.
Well, I think you've just got to own it. I mean, I look at this and immediately compare to the world of entrepreneurship because I guess that's my world that I live in, right? And certainly when you're out there crafting your own future and taking responsibility for your own dreams and ambitions, you've got to own it. You've got to believe in yourself more than anyone else on the planet does. And you've got to be willing to be seen whether you succeed or fail, right? Because when you're on that track running, like you said, everyone sees you and you've got to love it and be in it enough no matter what, come what may.
You have to. And that's the thing, honestly, with athletes, we're entrepreneurs too. Because we are that. And 9 times out of 10, everyone wants their own brand. Everyone wants to push their own thing. And you've been in your own world as an entrepreneur. You're building your own brand. 9 times out of 10, athletes want to build their own brand. They want to keep in the same lane and be health and wellness, fitness enthusiasts, all of that.
Yeah.
We're that. But then you get stuck to just being an athlete. You can't be an entrepreneur now. Like, what are you going to do? You're just a track runner. Or did they put that? Like, well, what's next? And I was like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. And then, you don't want to get typecast or pigeonholed. But then it's like, you do. That's the thing I think most athletes struggle with. I promise you. I don't care if you're an NBA multimillionaire or a bobsledder. You're pushing your brand. You have the same passion for it. You're like, okay, no, I am this athlete. I am that. And you fight for that. That's why a lot of Olympic athletes stay Olympic athletes for so long because you're fighting for that place. Like, we are that. Yep, I am an Olympian. I did earn these stripes and medals.
Yeah.
And notches on my belt. That does mean something. I did go to school. I did do that. Because a lot of times people will chop you down like, oh, you're just an Olympian. Nobody cares about track.
Just a little, yeah, come
Yeah.
on.
No, seriously, I get that all the
For
time.
real. No, I'm sure you feel like that,
Yeah.
especially after the games are over. Like, I mean, there's been documentaries like that on Netflix about how Olympians struggle with that it's the identity being stripped away. Like you talked about in the beginning. It's like you mean nothing once you compete, once you win. Like you kind of are just disposable, and the next generation of younger, better, whatever comes in, and you're.
Well, honestly, to me, if you get a gold medal at the Olympics, you're doing all right for at least 2 years. Like you're doing okay. You're not. You can hold if you have a gold medal. Like you can really market that and leverage that.
Totally.
But it's when you don't have or like, oh, I'm not just like me when I said I'm a relay gold medals, but I'm not individual gold medals. But you don't even think of it like that. But you got every little compartment because people are like, oh, you didn't really get a medal. You're just on a relay. It's always a just, and sometimes people don't know that, and they wanna just minimize,
compartmentalize you, put you in a box or something, and your brand is much bigger than that, right?
That's the hardest part. That's where we have the problem of transitioning into the workforce because you're just kind of held over as an athlete. But like we are, but we have the other things that we want to do and promote and build on. And you're right, you can't be an athlete forever. But matter of fact, you can be an athlete forever. But to me, a lot of people who are in the same field, they didn't go as high in athletics. So they were an athlete a long time ago, but they didn't pursue it this long. So we do the same thing, but I just stayed longer and competed as an athlete. But I'm still in the health and wellness realm. I still have to do everything in the way of building an entrepreneurship or being on time, eating right, getting your mind right, being disciplined, setting goals, having a strategy, scaling your business. All of that we have to do too.
Yeah.
But so we want to do that. And I think that a lot of times that's where athletes fight because it's like, no, we're in it too. Or they're like, oh, you don't know about business because you're an athlete. Like, yes, I do. I'm in it.
It is so transferable, right? That mindset, that discipline, the commitment for excellence, the vision, the perseverance, the fighting against, the consensus and the status quo and all that type of thing. All of that stuff applies in business, in life, in relationships.
Everything.
It's just massively transferable. What's been the hardest lesson learned as a champion, or the unexpected lesson? Because getting to the top and becoming an Olympian, there's lessons that you learned that you didn't realize were coming. Yeah, is there something in particular that you go, I wasn't expecting? That's a tough lesson.
Yes, the tough lesson I had to learn, I would say, it wasn't that serious. It's that serious, but a lot of times you put so much pressure on yourself and you feel like a complete failure and you work so hard for it. And then when it's over, it's like, it wasn't that serious to where you had to down yourself. I speak to so many of my friends that have been in the Olympics and they're like, man, I'm so mad at this back in night, whatever. And I'm like, oh, you still think about that? And it's like, yeah. And I get it because you put so much pressure on yourself and you're thinking that one moment is just going to be the end all be all. And like, if I don't get this, I'm going to get that. And it's like, no, you just got to learn to love your journey.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're not even thinking about like, okay, this is going to be over. You're not going to be doing this again. And even if you don't win the gold medal, you're still a good person. You're not trash. And it's going to be okay. A lot of times I'll be so devastated and like, I can't get out of bed the next day. No one even knows that. But I'm like, man, like I still get mad at things from even like 20 years ago or maybe 5 years ago. Like, why did I do this? I should have not done that. Or a lot of things I've sacrificed, even living out here in California, all my family, there's not one family member here. Not one.
Yeah.
So and I have a twin. So like, she's not even here. So it's like, I'm working. Like, am I working? Like, is it worth it? I don't know sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, am I doing okay?
Self-talk, I think, is the biggest thing, right? The relationship we have with ourselves, the inner monologue. Sometimes how we talk to ourselves is so much harsher than how we talk to others.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm not even my self-talk can be extreme sometimes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but then I have to take a step back and I'm like, you know what? Your life is your life and you lived a good life and you
Mm.
chose to do this and you did it with conviction and you followed your dreams literally. And
Yeah.
I can't take that back. But a lot of times I wish that I wasn't so hard on myself to where I'm like, I'm so mad at myself. And it wasn't that serious.
Mm.
And or staying in situations that don't serve me or sitting too long at the table or staying around situations and people that they don't care about you. So
Yeah.
I had to learn that in a lot of situations in training or stuff like that. Like, no, you could have went to that event or you could have done that. Like track it. If you didn't go to that event, that didn't make you lose the Olympic trials or something like that. No.
Mm.
And a lot of times we're in this little bubble of, okay, you gotta do it this time. You can't do that. You gotta it is that, but it has to be a healthy medium.
There's a balance, right, between
Yeah.
being incredibly disciplined and intolerant of things that will not serve you,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time being compassionate with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and being able to embrace every aspect of the journey, right? Because I
Yeah.
do think some of the hard parts is we want to win, but we need to be able to embrace and accept the losses, interpret them correctly so that our sense of identity doesn't get compromised, that it
Yeah.
fuels us, that it's a healthy chip on the shoulder,
Yeah.
going back to what you were saying before, because sometimes it can weigh us down, but other times it can really be a driving force.
Right. So
Yeah.
I used both. I did. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, I am gonna win this. And
Mm.
okay, you don't think I am? Watch. So
Mm.
it was both. It was a driving force and it was a chip. And but I never thought bad of myself.
Yeah.
I always well, one time, real quick, it was NCAA championships and me and my sister were in the room and we couldn't sleep because I never go to sleep before like a big champion. I can't. I'm up.
Yeah.
So my sister's like, Miki, are you asleep? I'm like, no. And she's like, what are you thinking about? I was like, I'm thinking about my victory speech when I'm about to win. And she's like, what? I was like, what are you thinking about? She was like, I think I'm gonna get like fourth. I said, what?
Mhm.
Oh no. I was like, if you don't, you're about to win. And I always knew that. Like when I put myself to, I never go into things with doubt.
Mm.
Most of the time I don't. But I just remember how serious I was. And then I went out there and I won. And I was like, see? And I was like, but I knew the night before, I was like, because I knew I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, back then you couldn't have your nails done and your hair done and it wasn't cute. Like, oh, you're doing too much. You're not focused. Like, hello, didn't you see Neon Dan? Like, if you don't look good, you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
I was Deion Sanders. I remember that. I was like, I'm Deion Sanders. I remember he's like, he had his glasses on, like, if you look good, you feel. I was like, I'm Deion. What are we doing? They didn't know what to do with me back then. Like,
I love
You
that.
play good, yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
100%.
that's how I felt. And I always thought, put on your best face going forward. Like, yes, you got to look good to feel good. And you're not going to come to work looking frumpy. So why
Yeah.
would I come to the track looking frumpy? I'm going to look good.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a swagger to it for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got to go on with confidence and you got to own that part. And I did that 90% of the time.
Yeah. So there's an interesting kind of pattern emerging here. One is just stepping into your own self, right? And not following the crowd, doing
Yeah.
what feels right for you, not following the status quo, but going, this is what I feel is right and I'm going to do it, but you've got to own it. You lean into it. There's self-doubt and there's worry, but then there's the victory speech and the anticipation and all that kind of stuff all going into it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I ran track. Like now I still like, I don't run. It's weird. I'm like, when do I stop? Or people keep I'm like, guys, they're like, why did you stop? Because I'm 44. Like, oh, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like,
Yeah.
I had to say that now. And I'm like, cuz how many 44-year-olds do you know that are sprinting not 10 seconds?
Yeah.
No, it's very rare, but like I would still keep going if like I really want to sometimes. But I mean, a master's athlete, that's freaking awesome though. There are a lot of master's athletes out there. You just don't know. My coach on my team, one coach now, he's 74 years old. His name is Damian Leaks. He's runs 12 seconds.
Wow.
You probably seen him running, but you didn't know. I didn't even know it was him. I said, you can't be the same guy I just saw on YouTube. He's like, me. But then wears big clothes on. He walks around with a stick. I said, you have a cane? He said, this isn't a cane. This is my long jump stick that I measured the sand. I said, oh, I thought it was a cane.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So That's what I mean. You can be an athlete forever. That's why I
Yeah.
see the wellness part. I ran track to me to represent the athletes that didn't get the recognition or whatever. I could show you can do it as long as you want. Like I really ran for as long as I wanted to. Merlene Ottey was my inspiration. Maybe she just stopped. I just remember she was like 54 running 11:3 at a meet in Gateshead,
Mm.
England. Like what? I was like, I want to be
Wow.
like her. I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
So,
It-
like
Well,
I've owned it.
yeah, you do some things different as well now, right? Because certainly people look to mindset, they look to diet, they look to practice and exercise and regime and what have you. But you also integrate other things, like you use BEMER as well.
The BEMER.
Yeah, tell us about that.
The BEMER, I was introduced to the BEMER in 2016 by a guy named Monty Gass. And I kept straining my I strained my hamstring. It was right before the Olympic trials. And was in his late 70s then, I think, or I don't know, but he was running, doing things. He told me about the BEMER, and I put the BEMER, I was using it for about 2 weeks. And then I came back sprinting. And they're like, wait a minute, didn't you just pull your hamstring? I was like, I did. They're like, no, you look really good coming out the blocks. And I'm like, I know, like how? And I'm like, the BEMER. And I know every time I get on the BEMER, because people know me as Miki the BEMER. You talk about the stupid BEMER. I'm like, I know, because I'm serious about the BEMER. They're like, how you got so much energy? The BEMER.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what is like, no, you just sit on it. It's a mat. You don't feel anything. But all I know is my hand, anytime when I use it for recovery or if there's an injury, it gets better. So I made the Olympics team, the trials that year, but it was too much too soon for the Olympics trials looking back. But I was literally the first one out the blocks for 30 meters in that heat. And then I straightened it again. But it was really 3 weeks before. So
That's unreal.
That's an incredible recovery.
yeah, and I'm sprinting. I'm not
Hamstrings usually
jogging
take forever.
forever. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, I know why. If I had 2 months, I know I would have had way more, but it was so soon. But I could still move. That's why I was like, wait, I don't know what the thing is, but I love it. And when I go to sleep, when I use it to sleep, I'm sleep immediately. I feel the difference. And it's an inexplainable feeling too, because you don't feel anything when you're sitting on it or when you're laying on it or when you're using it, but something happens in there and I get it. If you know, you know. That's when some of my friends, he's like, Miki, everybody needs a BEMER. I said, I told you, Victory, because he bought a BEMER. He's like, I get it. I was like, I don't know, you have to get it. And then he got one. He was like, okay, I get it. Everybody needs a BEMER. And I use it now in my daily life. I still train though. I still work out. I still train. The other day I did 21 one-arm push-ups. They're like, what?
I saw.
Right, you saw.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could do that because I'm on the BEMER.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
don't even lift weights anymore. I really, not like that. Not like I'm 4 times a week or I'm running. I maybe like 2 or 3, but not like I used to.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
it's been a part of my lifestyle, like in the past, since 2016 till now. And now that I have a BEMER, a real BEMER, like I have mine.
Yeah.
You're gonna be doing one-arm push-ups at 85, Miki. I have no doubt.
At least one.
I have no doubt.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Well, I love it. It's interesting when you say like you don't feel it. I mean, as I sit here right now, I don't feel my blood flow.
Right.
Right. So it's not something that you feel anyway.
Yeah.
So but we know the science shows, right, that it improves it right down at that microcirculatory level. The blood
Right.
flow is improving, and that helps us to heal and to recover and to do better and to sleep well and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Sleeping is major for me. And sometimes I won't get on it. And I didn't know how it's like drinking water when you know you need to drink water and then you don't drink it sometimes, but it's right there.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes with the BEMER. I'm not going to lie. But I know when I don't use it and when I use it, like, why did I not use it? Like, I don't know, but I've done that certain times. And I'm like, I love the BEMER. I do. And every time when someone gets on it, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Like my uncle, he has really bad hands. And so I'm like, okay, just sit here. I just wrapped his arm with the BEMER pad and just sat there and he's just talking. And then I put it on for like 15 minutes. And then later he's like, wait a minute. He's like, my hands don't hurt. I'm doing this, but they normally hurt. But I didn't feel it. He didn't even know what to do. Cause I'm like, I told you, you'll just be sitting there and notice like, oh, it's not, people want to feel like a sensation, like when you use a TENS machine, like is it gonna pulsate? No, it's not gonna do anything. But you're gonna notice something. They're like, okay, but people want to feel something just to think they're feeling it to get, even if it's a placebo effect. Like,
Yeah.
I need the muscles jumping. Like, no, you don't. It's not that.
It's just the real deal. The body just performs better with BEMER.
It does. It really does. So would you say high school students will use the BEMER too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, as long as you're 18 and above for the FDA Class 2 clearance is 18 and above. Yeah. So as long as they're 18, seniors,
I got my senior. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting to the end of time. I want to quickly. This has gone so fast. It's been so insightful.
We'll have to have an episode part 2 with me.
I think we're going to need to have a part 2.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we got to get Lisa in here.
I was going to say, I would love to get Lisa in as well.
I would too.
She's never been out. She's never been here.
I know.
She's going to come here next time. Okay.
I know. I am regretting being in the studio. I think we need to be out there where you are. It's gorgeous there. But quick. You've set up this organization now, Fearless Minds.
Fearless Minds.
Tell us about that, because it's rooted in your grandmother's story as well. That's been a huge inspiration there. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, well, I started Fearless Minds in 2015, and it was a motivational speaking company, and it was something just for students can have an outlet and just get more knowledge on what it is like to be an athlete, or just to navigate through life, period, and just having self-esteem, being disciplined, just showing different aspects in life and different careers you can have, and just not being settled down to one different thing also, or just showing them there's possibilities out there, and there's different things that you can do and that you can have support. And my grandmother passed from Alzheimer's disease in 2002. She had early onset. She was only 65 years old.
Wow.
And that was one of a big loss for our family. And I thought my grandmother was 80 or 70 or something. Like she was only 60 something, but Alzheimer's just took everything from her. And so one day she was okay. The next minute, for 10 years, from 55 to 65 was terrible. Yeah. And so I always wanted to do something in honor of my grandmother. So I started that. And then we started a bike ride in 2020 called the Big Ride. And it was to advocate for Alzheimer's disease. And that's the year also my paternal grandmother died. She was 89. And so I want to do something for both of them. Yeah. And my mailman, he was a big bike rider. He's like, come ride bikes. I'm like, I don't ride bikes. I thought I was going to like pass out or something. I'm like, I'm not doing 20 miles. And he kept asking me, but he would see me, taking me, my grandmother to the hospital, taking her to all her visits and all this stuff. And then when she passed, I said, okay. He's like, Miki, you're going to come with me? I was like, Grandma died. I was like, I'm coming with you I'm going to come on the bike ride. Yeah. And then I went, and it was all these, I'm like, what? And I was like, you know what? I want to do this for my hometown, for my grandmother. He said, what? So then I went to all the officials in my town. I was like, how do I put on the bike? They're like, I don't know. Then we got it done in 9 days.
Wow.
Baskerville of Montclair, New Jersey. She's helped me put it on. I'm going to say she's the one who got this started. And we had over 200 riders. We were on the news. It was a big deal. This was 2020. And now we're starting. It's going to be our 6th annual Big Ride. It'll be October 12th in Montclair, New Jersey at Glenfield Park. And so it's a good, fun ride just to support Alzheimer's. If you're going through anything, just let you stay active and mobile and motivated and something that's a good, fun thing. And so Fearless Minds, we go all around to different schools. We've had different school tours, different organizational tours, and just being there and being supportive for people to show that you do have community, to build community, to give back. Community is everything. That's I'm a big fan of this. My mother has Alzheimer's right now. So yeah, this certainly hits home for me. How can people follow along, Miki, and learn more about Fearless Minds, follow along where you are? Okay. Where are all the handles and places that they can follow along? Okay, here are my handles. My handles are Miki Mango on Instagram, MIKIMANGO, and on Twitter, Miki Mango, and Facebook, Miki Barber. And we're reconstructing our Fearless Minds website as we speak, but it will be up and running shortly. And the Big Ride is going to be on this year in October. Awesome. Oh, well, we'll be sure to include all those links when we get this out there and live. But Miki, this has been just so insightful, so inspiring to hear your story. Love what you're doing now. Love what you've accomplished. And just an absolute source of inspiration. And definitely, I think, a part 2. We need a part 2. We need a part 2, guys. 100%. We're going to make that happen. So, you're awesome. Yeah. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for having me. Yeah. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you at the next show.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.